Hello YouTube, VG Time here again with another deck profile. Continuing with the starter deck leaders, we have Baby Vegeta. This leader was very relevant in the last format, where he was the aggro deck leader of choice. He has since been supplanted by Reboot Gohan leader, as well as Majin Buu for that role. But he's still a very powerful leader, and is one that should be considered for the local levels. He has an activate main once per turn where you can take a life and put this card to active mode, so it allows you to attack twice on the front side. Then he has an awakening where you're at 2 or less life, you get to draw 2 cards and then tap 2 energy. So it's very powerful awakening to allow you to be able to press forward with your plays. On the back side, he becomes Super Baby 2 out for revenge. He has dual attack, which again keeps up with the theme to be able to attack twice and press your opponent. He has an auto once per turn where you get to draw a card. Most of this deck is made up of the trial deck cards. There are a few cards that are not, and I'll make sure I point out what those cards are and where you could possibly get them from. So the engine that the trial deck comes with is very powerful. It starts out with 4 copies of Dr. Mew, the Mastermind. He has an auto. Let me just center this a little bit. He has an auto that allows you to, if you have a multicolor energy, you get to search your deck for a card called Baby Evil Origins. His permanent is that you only have one of them on the table, and that if you have that multicolor red, yellow energy, you can play them for free. So free costs, and when you play them, you get this card, which is Baby Evil Origins. It also has a permanent that you only have one of them on the table. And if you have the red, yellow, multicolor energy, you get to draw 3 cards and discard 2. So all this happens for free as long as you play your red, yellow, multicolor energy on your first turn. And both of them have the effect that if you play them that turn, you don't get to play another one that turn. So you don't get to just play this out for free, combo with them off, and then play them out for free again on the same turn. Now this baby is also a part of another engine that the trial deck gives you. Because next we play 4 copies of Baby the Overseer. This card right here allows you to send that 1-drop baby to the drop area as an activate main to play him for free from your hand. And continuing with this engine that's in the trial deck, we got 4 copies of Baby Vegeta, Baby Vengeful Upheaval. He has EX Evolve on top of a baby with a cost of 2. So, again, it goes with that previous card we played. So, on the first turn for 0 energy, you get to go up to a 3-cost 15k. All for very little to no investment. He has a Union Absorb, where you could choose 1 Vegeta GT, which most of the babies in this deck are, and put it under this card from either your drop area or your hand. Be able to play one of 2 cards from your deck or your hand on top of them. One is Baby Vegeta, an Unfair Choice, and the other one is Baby 1, All-Consuming Terror. Neither one of those come in the trial deck. They come from the set itself. We do play one of them, and the one that we play is 2 copies of Baby Vegeta Unfair Choice. This is a very strong card. It is part of what I have been harping on in my previous videos, your barrier removal. You have to be able to remove barrier in this game, or else there's going to be some powerful threats that are going to cause you a problem. Now, he has an activate main. It's not once per turn, where you can discard your card from your hand, 1 card from your hand, and you could either choose 1 battle card ignoring barrier and put it into rest mode, or you could choose 1 card in rest mode ignoring barrier and KO it. And because it's not once per turn, you can actually discard multiple cards to be able to deal with threats. I wouldn't necessarily suggest you do that. If the card happens to already be in rest mode, then you could discard a card or pop it. Or if you have a battle card that's on their field that's a little bit lower in attack, you could just put it into rest mode and attack into it to be able to deal with the barrier threat. Now this next card is also in the trial deck, and that is 3 copies of Super Baby 1 the Conqueror. He has a permanent where you can only have one of them on the table, which is a running theme in this deck, and you'll see, there's other cards like that. And he has an activate main that if your leader card is a yellow baby card, and your opponent added 2 cards from their life to the hand or to the drop area this turn, you can play them for free. What's great about it is that it's not an auto, so you can actually have that effect happen, like have that condition happen early in the turn, and then after you made other plays, play this guy down to catch your opponent by surprise. And then I'm trying out this card, which is Super Baby 2 Destructive Villain. Has critical and villainous. Villainous isn't really relevant here, so being critical is. And he has an auto that if your opponent, not if your opponent, but if you awaken or wish, this card gains 15,000 power and dual attack for the duration of the turn. So it allows you to have a 30k dual attacker on the turn that you awaken, which is very powerful. Now the reason why we run all those 3-drop babies is because of our boss monster that comes in the trial deck. And just give you a heads up, this baby right here actually comes from set 8. It allows you, it's a Inglorious Villain rare. Those things are actually very cheap. I believe they're like 25 cents a piece, so it shouldn't be that hard to get. So anyway, the boss monster to the deck is Super Baby 2 Vengeful Rampage. Has an EX evolve for a red and yellow on top of a 3-cost baby. Now, because you have 2 babies that are able to be bought out relatively early for 0 energy investment, it allows you to be able to play this guy on turn 2 fairly reliably, assuming you have it in your hand in the setup. It has a offering, which is the red-yellow keyword term that makes it so that your opponent has to, when you play this card, put a card in their life in their drop area, and if they don't, you draw 2 cards. Both of which are good for aggro decks to be able to push in early on. Then he has an auto. When you play him, you choose all your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, you negate their skills, and it can't be comboed from the battle area for the turn, and he gains dual attack for the turn. So on turn 2, you could realistically have a 25k dual attacker to go along with your leader to put a lot of pressure on your opponent and possibly take a lot of their life. Then continuing on, I'm running 1 copy of Super Baby 2, the Malicious Tyrant. This is for a late game. It allows you to be able to play him and give all your baby battle cards and your leader card plus 5k. So it's almost like a bad Fearless Pan. But the other reason why he's good is that he has auto where when you combo with it and your leader card is baby, you can take 2 cards from your hand, put it on the bottom of your deck, and then draw 2 cards. So it allows you to smooth out your combos to be able to get the most out of it as you can. Like if you only have 1 energy and a bunch of 10Ks, you can use this guy to hopefully draw into some 5Ks to be able to continue comboing. And then this next card I'm also trying out. By the way, he's from the anniversary box. He's also extremely cheap, I believe like 25 cents. Next up, we have Super Baby 2 Malignant Force. This is from set 9. It's an interesting card, the one I'm trying out in the deck, where you can pay red and a yellow, warp it from your drop area, and choose one of your opponent's leader cards and your battle cards. You get that opponent leader card minus 15k and your battle card plus 5k. The minus 15 is only for that battle, but the plus 5 is for the turn. So it's great defensively. In this deck, especially against the other aggro leaders, i.e. Reboot Gohan leader, you get to just negative 15k, give your guy plus 5k, combo out the attack hopefully, and then it makes any follow-up they have a little harder to hit you because you have the additional 5k on you. Now that we're done with all the babies, we then play 4 copies of Shu on the offensive. This is your super combo for the deck. I chose this one over the multicolored super combos because I want to be able to draw cards in my aggro deck. Also, we're not playing any arrivals, so having it multicolored doesn't really benefit you that much. Then we have 4 copies of Newwst the Spectator. This is your Ignore Energy Exhaust card when you play it into your energy area, assuming you have another multicolor energy. That's very important to make sure that you play on curve. He also has a relevant auto effect when you play him on the field to take and negate a card's skill. A battle card skill, specifically. Then next we play 3 copies of Beerus Biding His Time. Very powerful card. If you have a red, yellow, multicolor energy, you get to play him for one and play him for 1 energy. He's 15k with critical, but you only have one of them on the field at a time, which again is the running theme of the deck. But the cool thing about him is that he puts a lot of pressure on your opponent's life total early on, and your opponent kind of has to deal with him without really getting aggressive on you. And then last but not least, for a cheap double striking threat and overwhelm, I played Dimensional Banisher Fu. He effectively costs 1 and overwhelm of 5, which is you have to have at least 5 cards in your drop area and warp them from your drop. He's 20k double strike, and when you play him with overwhelm, you can choose one of your opponent's battle cards and send it to the warp. So very powerful effect. This guy right here is from set 5, I believe. The Beerus is from set 8. So very strong cards, very inexpensive cards as well. Then I have 1 copy of Furthering Destruction Champa from set 2. Got reprinted several times. Very powerful card. Gives anything that's attacking on your side of the field double strike. So you can put it on your leader when you're going for the game or one of your various other threats. Like, for instance, your 5-drop Baby has dual attack, but it does not have any strikes or criticals attached to it. So the ability to swing in, bait out some cards and swing it again, and then throw the chomp on it to make sure you close out the game is also powerful. Then we play 1 copy of Swift Retaliation Cooler. This is also from that anniversary box I mentioned earlier. This card is a 3-cost counter. So it counters counter attacks as well as counter plays. And then it plays them after you finish negating that counter. And when you play them, you draw a card. But if you happen to have 6 cards in rest mode, which in aggro decks you typically do, you get to draw an additional card. So he allows you to fill up your hand for further comboing during the attack that you already are using. Then we have, for consistency, 3 copies of Blood's Wave Generator. Has an auto where you can only play 1 of it per turn. See the theme going on there? And has an activate main that if your leader card is a baby, you can look at the top 5, search for a baby card, add it to your hand, and untap a yellow energy. So, very strong card. And last but not least, we have 2 copies of Battle to the Death. Probably my favorite extra card in the deck. It serves several purposes. The effect is activate main. You choose up to 3 cards in your life, add it to your hand, and then choose one of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and give it minus 25k. So it's barrier removal, which again I'm a very big fan of, as well as self-awakening. So there are times where you have certain matches where they're never going to attack you and you want to be able to awaken in a timely manner. You can use this to bring yourself from 5 to 2 and then awaken, untap the 2 energy that you use for this and be able to continue your plays with the multiple attacking. You can also choose not to take any energy and just use it to burn something for 25k. So, again, very powerful deck, still very viable, especially on a local level, and more importantly, very inexpensive. So that's it for our deck profile. See you back again, and hopefully you enjoy it. Thanks.